Today we review the Equipe RS Winter Bib Tights S9 from Assos. Hello legends and super legends, welcome to Veloharmony. In today's review, I introduce the RS Winter Bib Tights from Assos to show you basically the racing series take on during a bib tight for cold weather. They call it their targeted protection. They had an S7. This is the S9. This is the latest iteration. They've got the A-lock styling of their straps, which keeps the back. They do that on the regular shorts as well, but it really keeps things on your rear when you're riding the bike. It doesn't move around. The pads are designed to move with you. The pads are not completely stitched all around, just the back and the front. The sides are open, so as you're riding, they conform to you, and they really work really well. So as I said in another review for one of the other Assos products, they've been doing this stuff long enough to where now they're focusing on solving the little niggling issues. You know, what are people most concerned with when they're riding their bikes? How can we get our products to pretty much disappear and just do their job to where you're not thinking about it? And they're there. They make special stuff from what they call the accessories. It's a spin on accessories for cycling to just all their regular stuff that they do. This bib tight is very technical, so I'm going to talk about the technical stuff first, and then I'll put it on so you can see how it fits. I have worn it, and it just felt like a glove. What they talk about when they say targeted protection, they have protection in the crotch area. They didn't just go and put fleece or whatever on the inside. They have their own targeted materials that they use to basically keep wind at bay, keep water at bay, and we'll talk about that. And everything is being designed by them. You know, they have specific materials, like one they call sphere. The sphere material is waterproof, and then on top of that, they add DWR. I like materials that are waterproof instead of depending on DWR treatment. But Assos, what they do is they make their stuff to already be waterproof, and then they go ahead and add DWR treatment as another layer of protection. They do that throughout their range. This is what I was talking about in their pads. This is the new thing they're doing on a lot of their garments. The cycling pads, they leave the sides open. They have found in their Assos lab that it allows the pad to move with your body. So you're not going to have bunching up and so forth and so on. And I tell you, from using their shorts, and this is just not in this winter garment, just their regular shorts, with the A-lock styling that they're using with their straps and this dynamic pad, I'm going to use that phrase. You put the stuff on and you just forget that you're wearing it. It just works. And so they claim that the targeted protection in the RS bibs are for you when you're riding hard in cold weather, so that the shorts don't interfere. Those of you know that some of the other vendors, when you buy their winter stuff, you got to size up because they put so much stuff on the inside to keep you warm, and then they don't adjust the sizing to where they're just very tight. You know, even Rafa, their current winter tights, I had to size up for it to get on my legs because they got so much stuff in there and the material's not as stretchy, so it did not really fit the same. That's not the problem here. The same size in your regular summer shorts, you can get the Assos shorts because they focus on protecting where it's necessary. So let's go ahead and read the technical stuff, because then I can show you and then put on the shorts. So the Equipe RS Winter Bib Tights, they call it their low volume winter bib tights that merges targeted protection, maximum breathability, and an aerodynamic fit for riders going full gas in the coldest conditions. Let's get into the fabrics. I like to talk about the fabrics because we all have a lot of shorts, and these things are not inexpensive. So why should you get one? I decided to try it because of the tech that's in there. They have something called the Osmos Heavy. It's a stretchy insulator that constitutes the body of the tights. So meaning that this Lycra, it feels almost like like a light wetsuit. It's really different. It's not like other stuff. That's why they call it Osmos Heavy. It's their proprietary stuff they're creating now because they've been doing it long enough to where they're not doing what everybody else is doing. They're coming up with things that are solving problems. So the Osmos Heavy, which they use in like some of their overshoes and so forth. So once they develop these fabrics that keep you warm and keep water off, that's what they use in their winter booties, the Osmos Heavy. So they're saying that the key textiles, what they call it, the membranes, there's something called Sphere, S-P-H-E-R-E, Sphere Ultra and Sphere Medium. So they use the weatherproof Sphere panels on the knees of the garment. When you think about it, when you're riding, the whole reason in the cold is to protect your knees. So they've got that Sphere weatherproof material, what they call a membrane. They put it on the knees, your thighs, your hips, the crotch, and the lower back. That's where they added it. They didn't just put it around the whole garment. And that's why it fits. That's why they call it low volume. Then they added taped seams and they use DWR treatment. I'm going to turn it inside out since we're talking about stuff because I want to show you what's going on with this thing. I'm gonna, hopefully, this thing will do it justice. I mean, everything's black. But they have different kinds of fabric. The fabric, this is the crotch. This is different. It's softer, it's warm, almost like a fleece style. That's what they call their Osmos. So they've got the Sphere Medium and the Sphere Ultra. So they probably put the medium in the crotch area. And then over here is thicker where the knee is. They added additional protection, but you can see all the seams here, man, the quality of the stitching. I'm going to bring this over here so you can see what I'm talking about. This is what you're paying for. You're paying for tech and expertise. The quality of the stitching. These things are not going to come undone. Let me do it here. Maybe the camera will help. Let's go down. You can see they're using different materials here. At the bottom, that's a different material here. The knee and the back. The back is more breathable. So what they do is they use the medium in the back. They use the heavier one in the front. And they're designed like panels. That's why you see all this stitching. Now, right here, I'm going to come back to the camera because I just noticed that this is what they're talking about. On the back, look at that. That's a different material here versus all this other stuff. So the Osmos and stuff are over there. On your lower back area where you need probably more ventilation, they use a different material, almost like I wouldn't call them honeycomb, but they look like diamond-shaped materials. So let's come back to the tech. I'm going to turn it the other way, right side out. So now what they're saying is the aero fit is very aggressive and also aerodynamic, mostly compressive. And they're saying it's simply the fastest option in their racing line. Let's go back. So if you're somebody who's going to be doing a lot of intense stuff in cold weather, these are the bib shorts you want to wear. If you're going to be doing group rides, fast group rides, and it's cold, that's what you want. They don't get in the way. This A-lock engineering, which I talked about, that's their thing they have on all their bibs now. They have reflective little tabs on the straps right there. They're stitched in two places that keeps that bib pulled up on your back. Now let's go over to the twin deck. Twin deck is what I was talking about, what they said. They have the Osmos Heavy under the Sphere Ultra across the front of the tights. So they put their heaviest Osmos material under that Sphere Ultra. The Sphere Ultra is the one that keeps the weather at bay, protecting the insulation and weatherproofing and maintaining breathability under the front, which is where you get bombarded with wind and rain and so forth. That's where they put the most protection. That's why I showed you that rear panel on the back that was just one material. Now they're saying when and how to use it. They always do that, but you know, it's pretty much for very cold weather. This is the 3 out of 3. That's what the blue in the Assos line denotes as far as the shorts. And they tell you in here, 3 out of 3. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put it on so you can see what it looks like. So these are the shorts. This is what they look like. I'm going to bring this stool and try to raise my leg. Yeah, there we go. So you can see that. At the bottom of the short, when I showed on the inside out, you saw the seam there where they had the different materials. This is a different material. It's a soft, I don't know, I can't even call it neoprene. It feels so good. This is designed to go over your overshoes if you're riding in rainy weather, so that when you get splashes and so forth, especially those of you that don't have mud guards or fenders, all the splashes, this will prevent water from getting into your overshoes. You know where the overshoe gets on your leg, and you put your tights over it, and eventually over time water will run down inside the overshoe. Well, this removes that from happening. Assos has put a lot of thought into that. It's on both legs. So they really put a lot of thought into that, and it comes all the way up here, and it just slips over. It's very soft. It feels good. I wouldn't call it neoprene. I don't know what kind of material it is. I'm sure it's something proprietary they came up with, like everything else. What I did find in putting on these shorts, I don't have pencil thin legs. And my legs are not that big, to tell you the truth. So, in fact, if I measured my, let's see here, I'm going to use kind of this hard ruler, because I know somebody will ask. If I measure my thigh, the circumference, let's see here, just a gauge right there. Like that. So my thighs are 22 inches around. They're not the biggest out there. In cycling, a lot of the riders have, different body shapes, These are sprinters' thighs, and they're not the biggest out there, I'm sure. But what I found that I had to do when I put the short on, because of all the different materials that they're using, the Osmos Heavy, Osmos Medium, I did this. Don't grab the seams on any short that you buy. I have to do this often on a lot of shorts. I grab the area in between the seams and pull it up. Or you can put your hand inside and open it, because this is a winter tight and it has a lot of treatments in different spots. I only had to do it in the front because they didn't do that much in the back. That's another reason I decided to try it, and I'm glad I did. Other tights like, say, Sportful, the whole thing has fleece or whatever they have in there, and so I have to pull back and front. So on this, I just had to do the front, just a little bit. Once I lifted it and pulled it, it just kind of gets up on you, because you want it up in your crotch. You don't want the material to be away from your crotch. That's how you get abrasion and chafing and so forth. Once it gets on, it's there. Now, I don't know if you can see, I'm going to turn this way. There's a bit of a gap right there. Assos, all their shorts are cut really low, so when it's time to use the restroom, it's very easy. You don't have to pull down too much. But this is away from the body on purpose. I'm sure they designed it like that. But when you're in the riding position, you can see I'm standing, it's away from the body. When I do this, so it's designed to where when you get in the drops, your shorts are not pressing up on your abdomen. They do that for the Cento shorts that they have. They do that for a lot of the Mili GT and so forth. This cup in the front is a completely different fabric. I'm hoping you can see the different shades, and I may have to zoom when I do post-production. This is a different piece of fabric right here. This is a different piece of fabric below that. There's a different piece of fabric from here all the way down, and then of course on the ankle. I'm going to move back now and hopefully get a whole body picture. I'm going to move back as far as possible so you can really see this. I'm hoping you can get down as well. Okay, so this is what it looks like. They spared no time and probably expense, and that's why they're not cheap. And so I don't want to hear, in the comments, this is too expensive. Then it's not for you. Move on. if you're looking for something that is not the everyday and you're a serious rider and you want something that will keep you warm and not cause you to sweat or overheat, this is it, because this thing not only keeps you dry, it's breathable. As I stand here, I'm not getting hot. The less expensive stuff, some of them, you put them on and they have all that stuff on the inside, whatever materials they use, you start getting hot. I'm just standing here and just like some of the other garments, the thing is breathable. And my leg does not feel like it's being compressed too much so that you can ride, you know? And one thing about this stuff is it will feel better when you're riding than what it does feel like when you're standing here. So always remember that Assos, Rafa, Castelli, you know, to name a few, you're standing the stuff, it may feel awkward, but on the bike, that's when it really comes into its own. So yeah, you got to pay for the tech that they put into that and the lab work that they did to come up with these things, because I can feel the difference. In my lower back here, it feels like there's nothing there. You don't need anything here. This is where you want to ventilate your spine area. You want that thing, and that's why they use a different material there. So all these areas, all the seams are wrapping different materials together. And that's really how they come up with something very unique. Because let's face it, if you've been riding for any appreciable amount of time, you already have bibs. So you don't want to just buy another bib. Treat yourself. You don't want getting up every day going and making your hard-earned money. Spend it on you. Assos has a saying when you buy stuff from their site, they say, sponsor yourself. I kind of like that, okay? So if you're really serious about this and you love the sport, treat yourself. What else are you going to do with it? You can't take it with you. To that effect, let nothing stop you from getting your Ks.